Welcome everyone! Today I am going to show you how to make these beautiful fabric rosettes. I make a lot of these and I get a lot of questions on them, so I'm going to show you how I do them today. I will be using a muslin fabric, which is the perfect texture fabric for this specific project. It works well with the shabby chic style and the country feel, so yeah, let's get started. For this project you are going to need a pair of scissors, a pen or pencil, a hot glue gun and glue sticks, your selected fabric, and whatever base you are applying your roses to. I am using wood, which has already been cut, sanded, and stained. You can use wood, glass, mirrors, canvas, whatever you choose. Just make sure that your surface is prepped and ready to go. So I'm going to start with my fabric, cutting small little notches about 1 inch apart. And I am using a muslin fabric. You can get this from Joann Fabrics for about $4 a yard. If you have a coupon you can get it cheaper, but this is a really nice lightweight fabric. It tears easily, it rolls easily, and it makes really nice flowers. So rather than cutting strips, I'm going to tear at my notches. And by doing this, it gives us a nice kind of shabby, frayed edge, which will go nicely with the theme. If you cut straight strips, you're going to get kind of a harsh edge. This just kind of softens up the flower a little bit. And depending on how large of a surface you're covering, you might use half a yard. I don't think I've ever used more than a yard on a single flower, and that's about a 12 by 12 flower is my largest. So here's our strips. Take my pen and just draw a heart on here. You can do whatever shape you want. Heart, a letter. Make a border on like a picture frame, whatever you want to do. So I usually put these on wood, so that's why I'm using wood, but you can, I wouldn't put it on paper. I would do, you know, wood. You could put it on glass. Anything that the hot glue will stick to. And the shorter your strip, the smaller your flower. So here I'm just going to start with a small one right on the point of the heart here. I'm just going to roll this. I'm going to pinch this end in my dominant hand. And I'm going to make my first loop. And I like to use the surface to kind of brace it so I can get a good grip on it, because if you don't have a good grip, if you let go of this, it's just going to unravel. Again, get my first loop, twist with this hand, bring it all the way around, and then I'm going to pinch the center of the rose and the end to hold it. And this is so that I can get a hold of my glue gun. Get my glue on there. And I like my end to point in towards the center, so that way we have no loose pieces popping out of our flower, or I'm sorry, out of our heart. And the nice thing about this is once you put that glue on, you can kind of manipulate this into the right shape. And there's your first flower. So then I'll take a longer strip because I like to alternate the sizes of my flowers. That way it doesn't look so uniform. Twist this up. Get a nice grip on that. As you're wrapping, you want to continuously twist this end. And you don't want to pull this too tight, because if you pull it, you're going to unravel. So It might even help to loop it twice to get a better grip. Use your thumb and your index finger as kind of a platform for this to sit on. So there's that. Pinch the center to hold it. Get some glue. Sit that right on there, and once it's on the glue kind of holds it, so you can let go and just kind of manipulate this to where it needs to be. Press all your edges down. Make sure you push the center down because otherwise they'll spring out. And you got to be quick because if you don't do it while the glue's hot, once it dries it's not going to stick. So you'll have a big amount of glue under there. And that's your flowers. So just to give you a different angle, I'm going to take my next piece. This one's longer than the last. I'm going to twist again. Get a hold of that end. And like I said, I like to kind of lean on something to get my grip on it before there we go. So there's the center of the rosette. I have it pinched in there, and as I ravel this around, I'm going to keep twisting to keep that coiled nice and tight. You can just wrap it if you want. It gives you kind of a more fluffy, fuller flower, but I like them a little more tightly woven. That way they don't snag on anything if they get bumped into or one of my kids grab a hold of it. So you're just going to twist this around, kind of using your thumb as a base plate to hold that flower. Once you get to the end, I go for the center and hold on to the end, and I just pinch it just like that to hold it all together as I get my glue gun. So here I'm going to go along the edge yet again and just kind of guesstimating the size of how much glue I'm going to need. And if you do run over, it's not a big deal because it will be covered. So I'm going to take this end that I have, this is the back end, the tail end of the flower. I'm going to point that towards this other rosette. Once you sit it on there, it's usually pretty good. And then you can go back and position it how you want it. Push down in the middle, make sure everything has been made contact with the glue so that it holds it steady. So there's that one. Grab another one. You can, if you want, if you don't want to work from one side. I usually start at one end and work my way through. You can make larger flowers and just sporadically place them and then fill them in with the smaller flowers if you want. It's completely up to you. So we'll do a larger one this time just so you can see how these ones go. So again, I twist my coil nice and tight, get a hold of that end, get my first loop started. And once you get that loop, once you hold on to it, make sure you got it, because if you let go, the whole thing will unravel. And I'm going to twist this around while twisting this continuously to maintain that shape. Nice and gentle, don't pull too hard or you'll twist the whole thing out. Once we get to here, grab a hold of the center, and now you have your whole flower. So again, give it some glue. Point your end towards the other flowers to keep them in. So see, I'm over my edge. I can just push that in. And that also helps you get a sharper edge on whatever shape you're doing. So if you're doing a letter, you really want people to tell, especially the center of an A. You don't want your flower hanging over the center where that hollow triangle is, and then it's hard to distinguish what letter you have. So let's push it down. Here's my third flower. As far as these little corners, you can make teeny tiny ones. You're going to start with just a small little piece. These ones are, sometimes I think these ones are harder because they're so little. just get a hold of it. I'm having difficulty because of how tiny this is. So you can also do it this way. For these little itty bitty ones where you don't have a whole lot of fabric to hold on to. And once you push this little tiny thing down in between these, the edges of these flowers will fall over and then it'll kind of fill in those little gaps. Just get that right in there. Tuck it in. Get rid of my glue strings. There's that one. Okay, so I've gone ahead and just about finished up the heart. There's just a little section up here that's left. I just wanted to show you how I finished these portions because some of them are oblong shaped. They might have a, you know, a little piece, that point that sticks off of it. So I'm going to show you how to kind of manipulate the fabric to get the shape that you're looking for as far as doing these roses. So I'm going to roll my rose just like I did before. Grip it, twist it and roll it. When I have this little extra piece here, I'm going to kind of give a little slack so it kind of creates that gap there between the rosette and that last layer. So being that it's not so stiffly wrapped, it's got a lot more flex to it. So while I'm holding this, see how I can kind of pinch this and it stays in the rolled state of the rose, but it kind of gives that point on the end. That's perfect for when I'm filling in these gaps because this rose at the top, there's little triangular portions that are not covered and they're going to be kind of awkward to fill. So once I put this on here, just to kind of give you an idea, once I put my glue on there, I can push this down and see how it kind of conforms to this shape. Or if you have a bulkier end and more of a pointed side, you can manipulate these flowers to kind of fit wherever you need them to go. So I'm going to take my glue, go along that shape of that last portion, sit my flower right in the middle, and I'm going to push it down. And see how it kind of tucks itself right into that corner there. Glue strings here. That's the nice thing about wood is if you get glue where you weren't intending, it's not terribly difficult to get it off of there. So that's pushed in. My rose, well, my heart rose. Do not be intimidated by these beauties. They are a lot simpler than they seem, and the more you practice, the better you'll get. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.